Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Be so light. Hey, how is everybody doing? How you liking that heat? Are you liking that heat? It's just a preview of what's to come. Oh my God. So I titled this Messages of what when someone passes away, the day that they die on, and then the time that they are actually pronounced dead is a message, and it's going to show you what their next cycle to be is going to turn into. So it's kind of interesting, and this is just solely my soul connection with the information that I have received so far since my friend has crossed over. And I think one of the most powerful messages is the day that she crossed over. When you add up the date was 5/15/2023. That is a nine energy. And then the time of her death was at 6:49. So that gives you the six and the four is a 10, plus a nine, the nine and the one is a 10. One. So she ended in this life and started a new cycle on the other side. So I was just looking at her timeline, that how she did this. And it's so funny because that's what we did, a lot of decoding work, working with numbers, um, things that we would find out, and we would decode it and figure it out and everything. But even in transition from a life into going to the other side, there is this transition energy of the messages hidden. So now what's going to happen? Some of you, after you watch this video, you're going to go back and look at the time that your family member or someone, even animals, what day they died on, what time did they die. It shows this particular this nine energy. She's like, I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back. We have that free will as the divine human beings that we are, to say yay or nay to coming here to earth. Okay. It's only when we decide that we're coming here to learn something or to evolve in a higher consciousness is when we go ahead and sign up and come into this timeline on this planet. So I found it very interesting to kind of really pay attention to this. And I'm always looking at the dates, and I'm always looking at times, but with hers I was really like paying attention. Okay, the day she left. So now her this shows you how in spirit you have the last word. She's going to get cremation done this week, and then her ashes will be picked up by her family on June 8th, which is her birthday. hmm And then the funeral is 2 days after that, which is on June 10th. So I pretty much had already told her that I wasn't going to be going to the funeral, because I'm still going through my own body healing. And really, wow, this has just been such a. Last night I was told it's like initiation, transformation, releasing, and moving forward into more energy timelines and things that I'm doing. And I said, I totally get that. I get that. I get that. But to really kind of sit and analyze a lot of the things that's happened within the past three, going on 4 weeks now, this whole event. And you know it's just been a really interesting thing, of moving through this. So some of the things that I am working with and stepping through is all about the body's response to when you go through loss, when you go through a grieving process, and how tired your body becomes and how depleted you are, especially in magnesium. You start to feel that depletion. So, what do? What do? Do you want to hear a story? What happened to me yesterday? So, let me tell you what happened. So, I went to, hold on one second, let me grab it. I still have my altar up for her with her flowers and everything. The flowers are still like, wow, it's been over a week and it's still going. Of course it is. It's divine energy, divine magic around that. Love. So, yesterday, which was Saturday, which was Yamaye's day, um, I I was putting I was dressed in blue. For some reason, I knew I just had to have blue on. So I went to go see my acupuncturist because I've been trying to get in for like a week or so. Couldn't get in. They just happened to have an opening in the morning. So I said, let me go and do that, and had some time to be able to go and do it without worry about where I had to be and what I had to do and blah blah blah. So I went, and it was really interesting. Now, the lady that I see, I have been seeing her 10 for over 20 years. And I remember when I first met her, I said, I know you. You're one of my old teachers. You're one of my old teachers that I used to study with. She goes, were you a good student? I said, no, not really. You really were very disciplined with me. I had a lot of discipline with you. And she says, that means that I did good with you. And I said, yeah. So, and every now and then, whenever I get treatments with her, I'll have some kind of past life dream where I'm doing something and she's testing me on how to move energy and how to change something in somebody's body from afar and da 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 da, and I'm like, whoa. So this time when I went in, it was really interesting because she was able to just see me, hear my voice, and look at me and could tell that there was something deeply emotional um, pressing on me. And I told her what the situation was, and it was so funny. She was like, "Oh," and she's so good at what she does. She was like, I think she was looking at something on a text or something, and then she was listening to me, and she was just taking the needles and she was going boom, 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 boom. It's like she can do like multitask, do certain things and be da 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 da, and hit those points. And there was a couple points that she's never hit on me before. So I it's kind of funny when she's doing the points, I'll say, so how's your day going? How you doing today? It's kind of like, are you're good, right? You're good. You're gonna be really gentle with me, right? Right, right. And she goes, no, I'm not gonna be gentle at all. We gotta get this moving. Your body is holding on to all of this heaviness and is causing your body to have reactions, and you're broke out in your hives, and that's expression of all these deep emotions that hit you so fast and your body is trying to process. No, we're not, no, we're moving this out. I was like, okay. So so she does her treatment on me, and I'm laying there and I'm, in my moment, and I'm feeling things moving. She burns the moxa on me. I love moxa. I've always been in love with moxa. That's the mugwort plant. That plant now, like, man, that is a magical plant. I love that plant. So she does the moxa on me, everything's good. And then she gives me the cream, and then she makes me my tea. This is where it gets interesting. So I've had Tins teas forever. I love Tins teas. Tins teas are the bomb. When she makes her plant medicine, she makes her plant medicine, and her medicine, the way she makes it to heal the body, she is the bomb. She knows her stuff, and she can get your body back on track like that. So I was, she says, you still holding on to some heavy stuff, and we got to get you to that next level. You got to release. You got to release it. So I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be the death of me. We're gonna release it. I'm gonna die into this. I'm gonna release it. I'm gonna get rid of it. So I get home and I get the tea and I prepare. She said, I want you to drink this tea 3 times a day. You are going to feel so much better because we're going to get that stuff out of you. It's going to come out. And it's like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to sweat maybe, no, no, no excavation of that way. So when I drink the first tea and I sip it, as a matter of fact, here it is right here. I'm letting it cool because it's a little hot. But when I took in the first tea, the drink, and I tasted, it was so strong and had such a bitter taste behind it. I was like, I gotta drink this 3 times a day. What? So then I immediately became a problem child and called her. I called her up. And I left a message because they were on lunch break, and I leave a message because I say, "Well, this is Felicia calling. Yeah, could you please call me back about the tea?" Yes, I definitely have some questions about this, please. So she calls me back, and I love how Tin says it. She's so cool. Yes, Felicia. I go, Tim, what's up with this tea? What do you mean, Felicia? It's it's really, I've known you for a long time, Tin, and I've had your teas, and your teas always have this nice sweetness to it, and I really like the sweetness to it, and it tastes so good, and da 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 da. And she goes, yes, that's because you're spoiled. And I go, there's nothing wrong with being spoiled. I love being spoiled by you. That's the love tea. I love that. What is this? Well, you don't like me no more? What is with this tea? She goes, no, you have stuff you need to let go of. And all that heaviness that you're holding, all that energy you're still holding, you have to let that go now. And this is going to help your body to detoxify and release it. And you're going to feel so much better. I said, but it tastes so bitter. She goes, yeah, because what you've been going through is bitterness. And I was like, wisdom from the Tao. And I was like, oh my God. So I went into that and I just said, okay, I'm in it to win it. Let's get it going. So she said, now make sure you do the tea, do your mugwort bath tonight, do your mugwort tummy medicine. Make sure you do that and get your rest. And I said, I will. I did everything. And I even did my gua sha. She even told me the gua sha would be really good because gua sha, and one thing I love doing in massage is gua sha. I love gua sha. When I get my stone and my, hold on a second, I'll show you. If you know what gua sha is, I'll show you my gua sha tool. Those that know me, they know me. You know me. Yeah, baby. We're gonna go to town. This is gua sha time. So this is I have several of these. I was so grateful at the time when I was working in the spa. I was able to go to Tucson with my boss at that time, and I was able to get more orthoceracins. And you can get them dirt cheap down there during the Tucson Fair when they're having the Crystal Fair. So I made sure get myself some really good ones. And the one thing when you're working with orthoceracins and you're using them for gua sha when they're big like this, When you have worked with them for a while, say like you used them and cleansed in between and you use them on people, and then when one slips out of your hand and it breaks, that means it's done. That means take that, put it into the earth, or either throw it into the ocean or a river, because that tool is finished. So for my own personal use, I have this Orthoceras. And Orthoceras, because they are fossilized squid, okay, that is over anywhere from 4 to 7 million years old, okay, depending on where they find it at. So these are very old fossils to be working with. So I was just squashing and really doing my skin, just getting in there, getting that inflammation out. When you're doing gua sha, you can put a very light oil, not too much, very light oil. And then what you're doing when you're doing the gua sha and you're doing it, you're bringing up the toxins, you're bringing up the inflammation, you're moving the lymph glands. And the only indication for this is if you're on blood thinners or anything that's with the blood, you have to be cautious. And if your skin is really thin, you can't go doing all this because you'll rip yourself apart. You'll be blood everywhere. So you don't want to be doing that. But if you're pretty healthy, your skin turgor is pretty healthy when you're doing it, then gua sha is the way you work that inflammation out and you get that anything that has all that swelling, you get that stuff up and work around those areas that have that scar tissue, especially scar tissue. Scar tissue loves to hold on to the memory of the incident. If you had surgery, it'll hold on to the memory of that, the trauma of that, and then the healing trauma that is going through trying to heal and get back on its right track. So when you're guashing and you're breaking up that scar tissue, you're being careful if you have any hardware in there, like bolts or anything that's holding bones together. You don't want to break down orthopedic surgery or what they're doing. I don't care what the client is saying, if they're saying how good it feels and everything. Don't break down the orthopedics work, the way that they have put everything together. Don't break it down. So your gua sha and you're doing that, and that starts moving all of the toxins in the lymph. Now you take that and put that on top of the tea, and now you're creating the transformational of moving things out of the body. So when she told me that, yeah, do your gua sha, and I did that in the bath and everything. By the time I had the third cup of the tea, after I worked through getting okay with the bitterness of it, because I'm dealing with the bitterness of the death, the bitterness of how it happened, the bitterness of the energy of it, the bitter. So I started kind of moving into it, and I just was just really working it, and I could just feel how my body was just releasing and letting it go and moving through it. And that's one of the things why I titled it the way I titled it, because there's messages in the death. There's messages that you, the person that's received the information of something that's happened and how you're dealing with it. And then there's the process of the one who had crossed over, what the message is. And the numbers, the day, the time, where were you at the time when you got the message? What were the things that were happening before this took place? And how this is like a month, just several, maybe about 2.5 weeks or so before her birthday, this happens. So ever since I found out about the spiritual cycles of death, of how some of us will die before our birthday, so many weeks or a month or so before our birthday, or so many weeks or a month after our birthday. Those are like doorways. Those are those doorways of entry, exit, those doorways right there. And for it to be so close to her birthday and to be getting her ashes on her birthday, it's like she had the final say. You know, no matter what everybody else wanted, for her to come back, that she had the final say. She's like, no, I'm not going to come back into a body that doesn't work for me, a body that I would probably be an invalid in, and I would be laying in a bed somewhere. This is what happens when someone's very active in life, and when something like this happens, they're not going to want to come back and be in a body that they cannot work in, they cannot be happy in, they cannot do things in. There's going to be limitations. There's going to be paralysis. There's going to be one part of the body might work or might not be able to talk or might have swallowing problems or whatever that may be. And this is where we come into that place of honoring that soul's decision of not taking back their home. Okay, not taking back this temple if it's not working. If it's not in working condition, why would you want to get back in it? A lot of times, same thing with cars. When our cars are not working right and we are dumping so much money into it, sooner or later you're going to get rid of the car because you're done with it, right? Same things. This is just a vehicle for us to get around in. And so I just I just knew when they took her off the machine, that was her way of saying, now I'm free. Now I don't have to worry about trying to get back in this body because that's not what I want. And to release that. And then to be able to just support that and honor that in such difficult releasing times of that when we're letting go of loved ones. So, like I said in my other video, I think it was on Instagram. There's a difference when someone is when you're dealing with death. You're dealing with death that's coming when you see the aging, you see the illnesses coming in. You know that that person doesn't have much time left. You're preparing for their to exit. But when it's a exit of all of a sudden you talk to them, next thing you know they're dead. They something happened. That's that trauma. And those are the ones that takes time to kind of heal from because it came out of nowhere. And there's all this swirling about energy that happens to you when you go through a trauma death, when someone's died in a car accident, a murder, a freak accident, things like that. They were there one minute and they were supposed to get in contact with you, and the next thing you know, they're not there anymore. So it's just been this whole process of, it was different when Pam died because we had time to talk and I already knew what she was going through before she slipped into her coma. And she was all about, I want you to take care of yourself. Don't worry about trying to come to the funeral and stuff. Don't worry about that. Da 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 da. Thank you so much for everything. We had time to talk. This one was entirely different. We were talking and I was waiting for a phone call to make sure she got back home. And that never came. So I first of all I want to say thank you to the Be So Light tribe family here for allowing me to come into this space and to talk about this because there are people that probably experienced very much so same type of thing that I went through and they are still in this that timeline of that grief or that trauma energy that hit them really hard and they have never been able to get out of that um, or to really move forward. And it's kind of interesting because I was watching how some of my friends were responding to me, and they were like, when we're letting Flea just do her thing and let her process, and people were constantly checking in. How are you doing? Are you doing okay? Da 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 da. Are you sleeping? And I would talk, and it's kind of interesting because it was like I'm checking in with myself also. I know where she is. I know what the whole thing is, but when your humanness gets in it, it's an entirely different cup of tea. This is nursey time. This is nurse relationship stuff. And you see it from that point of view too, because both of us were nurses. And to just kind of kind of really step into that and be that. And it was really kind of interesting. But nevertheless, thank you to 10. Now, 10, this is funny. She, she wrote a book, one of her first books since I've known her, wrote this book. And I said, Meditation and Meridians. And would you have it? As I'm thumbing through it, my hand lands right on one of the issues that I know started it all was the gallbladder meridian. And the way it lined up, because everything that was inflamed at the time when it happened all lines up with the gallbladder meridian. So I was just like, wow, how interesting. One of the things about being a healer, anyone that does healing energy work, all of you out there, don't you find it interesting when you have this knowledge, you have your Reiki, you have your energy work, you have all the things that you studied, all of the trick of the trade. But when something comes into your life and takes you off your track, your train track, derails you, you literally have to juggle your senses to kind of get back to what would you normally have done for yourself, if there wasn't any of the tragedy or something that happened. You kind of lose your senses, your footing to know what you should do. Like when all this started, I should have went straight to 10 right then and there, but I couldn't get in at the time and the timing was off. But now, since I did my Ayurvedic, now I'm following it up with the Chinese medicine and doing that. My body is now moving and accelerating and moving forward, which is beautiful. So she's got this beautiful book out, and I'm just like, it takes me back to when I was really contemplating about becoming an acupuncturist and going to the School of Berkeley. I went for the summertime, loved it. My parents thought I was so crazy. I remember my mom and dad was like, "What do you mean you're going down into Berkeley, that Oakland area? They kill everybody. They kill each other every day." And my dad was like, "You can't be going down there." Like, and I did it during the summertime, and I took a summer course in the fundamentals of acupuncture. Loving it. They let you be in, sit in a class, you study, you learn about different fundamentals and things like that. Oh, I just loved it. I had a ball. And then I really wanted to take it. And then when I saw the sticker price of it, and I was trying to figure out, and I'm grateful that I didn't sign up at the time, because if I would have, and then when the economy dropped down the way it did, I would be in financial destitute right now. I wouldn't have, there's no way I would have been able to pay off all of my nursing, um, BSN stuff that I was going to pay off and do that. And then I changed my mind. I still had that loan out for school and I had to pay that. And I paid all that off, got that paid for it. But then if I would have did this, oh my goodness. Ooh. So when the time is right, if I'm still thinking about it, I might just jump into that. Who knows? Life is all about, you know, not being stuck in one way of belief, not being stuck in one way of being. Is always keep that door open as a way to say, you know what, this is great. I like this experience. What else could I go ahead and experience? Because you're limitless. You can expand yourself out to so many things. You don't have to be just one way to do something. You don't have to just study this. You don't have to just be this way. There's many things that you can do, because when you really look at it, creator is many things. Creator is in everything. So why not be just like creator? That's what you are anyway. You're everything. You're all of that. You're the good, you're the bad, you're the wind, the water, the earth, you're the fire, you're the trees, you're the bugs, you're a part of everything. You're part of everything, everything. So when you let go of this vehicle, you go back to that. So to know that Deb has been kind of just traveling, going around, and she can just do whatever, and she's just having a ball, going and seeing things, and can go and see real things that we sit around and we wonder about. She has access to that. All the spirits have access to the truth, don't they? And they see it all, where it is hidden in front of us, the living, where we have to dig around and look for truth. Not much longer. So, that sun out there, have you been paying attention to that sun? Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to want to be jumping in the swimming pools and high noon and high times when you got to pay attention to that UV timeline, that UV ray when it's high. You got to pay attention to that because that swimming pool can become your boiling pot and you not know it. You're wondering why you're not feeling right. You know what I'm saying? So everybody needs to pay attention right now. What's going on? And the things that are not being said, you need to pay attention to what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and do our Sunday read for the collective of energy for this week that we need to pay attention to and move into. Now, this one, I'm going to mix a little bit of plant medicine with it and some water temple energy in there. Pull a card for that. Um, and one thing about the tea that I'm taking, man, is super. I told one of my friends, I said, you know what? I felt very euphoric. I felt very like ooh, relaxed. Like it was relaxing me. It was like really relaxing me. Like my whole nervous system, I just literally was feeling it being reset. And it's just amazing. She's just amazing. I'm so grateful she's on this planet. And she has really been, I haven't seen any other acupuncturist but her because she knows her stuff. She knows it. And as long as I'm here and doing, I'm always going to just see her. She just knows it. Um, she really does. And Tin Chow Herbs, located on T Street. She's excellent. She can get you back on track. She's good. Okay, so let's take a look at today. We're going to dive into the plant people, crystal people. But first, what are we seeking? We're going to go into the seeks. What are we seeking? What is the seeking energy? What are we seeking? Okay, then what is the message of what we're seeking? What's the message? What are we needing the message? Okay. What's the crystal medicine behind it? What do the crystal people have to say? What does the plant people have to say? I love these magical herb oracle cards. Really, really nice. Love it. Okay. And then the water temple. And then the gateway portals, because we are the priestess Stargate Divine Priestess group. We are doing a 10-day journey through the galactic portals because it's 10-day wave spell portals that are activated right now. And we're on day 3 and intertwining up with our star symbols on top of that and working on our activation of our portals. We already did our artwork of the bases and activating your spiritual vase. That was fun. That was a lot of fun to do that one. And now we're doing this. So Let's take a look. For what are we seeking? Time to rise. Shit, look at this. Time to rise. Time to rise. We are seeking time to rise. Look at that. Ooh, kind of looks a little bit like Oris, doesn't it? Love it. The message from that is time to reflect. When we rise, we also have to reflect. What are we looking at? Because of this energy, Jupiter now, Taurus, and we have all this reflection going on. Love the message of that. The crystal is all about the inner peace. And that's the number 16. So that's 7. So we got the peace going on. And we're dealing with some scolite and tea agate, the tree agate. Okay. So now the plant, oh, of course, detox. Dandelion. It's time to detox. And my tea is all about detoxing, which is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Then we move into the water temple, and it says the goddess Anut, and it's detachment. I choose me. Detachment. I choose me. Choosing yourself and making yourself first. And now we are going to activate it and step into the Kashik Stargate, align with purpose, crosswords, no wrong path. Love it. No wrong path. There is no wrong path. There really isn't. There's no wrong path. You just have to be willing to first step your ass onto it and go. Just step onto it. There's so many people that are so afraid to just truly embrace and do what calls to their spirit to do. If it's to do artwork, if it's to open up a business, if it's to pursue their happiness, they're so afraid to just do it because they want some kind of guarantee that it's all going to work out. Well, you are the freaking guarantee. Hello, you're the one that got the passion. You're the one that got the tap 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 on the head that said, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you go ahead and jump into this?" And you're the one that's receiving the messages and doing it. So, what more of a guarantee that you need if it's going to work? You got the message. You just have to show up and do it. You just have to be true to yourself. And right now, we're going to see a lot of that play out. We're going to see a lot of that energy play out. The truth of ourselves. What's your truth like? Are you willing to be raw and open and talk about some of the things that you're dealing with? And are you willing to just shed, stuff that no longer serves you? Are you willing to be in that space? To let that go. So I think that wraps up this whole thing right now. We're just in that time of rise and reflection. We got the peace and some detox going on. And then we have detachment, and I choose me. And then we step into the caution records of the Stargate, align with purpose. All right, lovelies, that's my message. Pay attention to when your loved ones cross over and pay attention to little subtle messages that are coming through, the tapping on a door, nobody's there, like knock knock. It's only two knocks. Um, the subtle sounds of, you know, that sound or little beautiful twinkle lights that show up that shows that your person who has crossed over is letting you know everything's okay. Okay. All right, lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me here on Be So Light. I'll be back again with more content to share with you to help inspire you. But the main thing is when you're a part of this tribe, you stand in your truth, you own your light, and you be so light and you make it right. Get that good spiritual love going on. All right, lovelies, be good to yourself. What do I do? Bye. Much love.